just the tip. Okay, just the tip where myself or Pat give you, kind of a little thought, a little thing, a little tip, whether it's more centered around DraftKings and DFS or around betting, where we talk about kind of more strategy, more theory, more, big picture stuff. Try to keep it quick. Pat Perry coming off the heater, winning $20K on DraftKings last weekend on a $200 single entry and hitting Russell Henley as a first round leader bet at 125 to 1, chopped up to 62.5 to 1. Pat Perry, you, sir, have the floor for just the tip.
Okay, well, just the tip for me this evening, I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to like harp on the heater and everything and winning 20K and blah 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 blah. But what I am going to talk about is what kind of led to some of that, and that is the fact that contest selection is so key when it comes to DFS
Yes.
and whatever else. I mean, you've got to. Especially if you're not like a pro and you're not doing this for a living and everything else, like the single entries, like the $200 single entry, there's a $33 single entry on DraftKings. There's a $12, so it doesn't have to be the $200. There's actually a $100. The thing about those is obviously, like it says, it's a single entry. It's one lineup. Okay, it's your one best lineup that you're putting out there each week. And you're not going against all the bots and all that kind of stuff and the people that can throw in 100, the bots and 150 lineups and whatever else. Okay. Don't get in bed. No, some of them are bots. I think there's some bots out there.
You sound like such an old man right now. They're not bots.
Don't get in bed with the bots. Okay. We're not getting in bed with the bots. All right. And so just do the single entry. There, you got a way better chance at winning some money. You don't have to have like this, incredible lineup. I mean, my lineup that I won this past week was in 1,000. I entered it in 3 contests. I entered it in Pat Mayo's league, which, by the way, is a great contest to get in. Pat Mayo is a $15 3 max league. It's fantastic. I finished 15th in that one. Won like $300. I put this lineup also in the Millie Maker for $10 because I just like to throw one in there, and it finished in the 1,000th place, and then it wins $20,000 in the $200 single entry. So that kind of tells you don't have to have that perfect lineup in these single entries. You just don't, and so I like that. I also like the fact that you can kind of eat the chalk a little bit in the single entries. In this lineup, I had Louis in there, even though he was a chalk bomb. Well, here's a story behind that. I picked this lineup on Tuesday. Okay. I stuck to this lineup. 2 guys that I really liked, Berger and Scheffler, who I thought there's the lineup on the screen. Berger and Scheffler were 2 guys that I didn't know, had no clue what the ownership was, but they were 2 guys that I really loved that I thought were going to get overlooked, and they were, and they had low ownership. And then I liked Brooks Koepka and I liked Louis. They were both higher owned around that 20% category.
Yeah, Koepka at 19, Louis at 25. So you ate some chalk.
Yeah, and then Scheffler was 10, Berger was around 5. And then I had Neiman and Adam Scott in there. Adam Scott scared the shit out of me, but sometimes in these GPPs like this, you got to have a guy in there that's going to scare you a little bit. He did scare me, but turned out to be okay. One thing I think about when you do these single entries also, especially the $200 single entry, it's not something like, for me, your regular everyday player, like $200 makes you a little nervous. Okay. You're throwing $200 out there in a single entry that you could lose all of that money. So what do? You actually focus a little more on that lineup because you are putting your $200 into a single entry and you just feel like it. I mean, it has to be good. And so when I do single entries, I tend to I focus a little more on each individual player, on the stats. I look at Fantasy National. I really try to drill it down a little bit more. And I think that's good. I think you're focusing on that one lineup as opposed to if you're trying to do 10 or 15 lineups into a contest or more than that, you may just kind of cowboy it up, go off a feeling or whatever else. You don't look at something because you've got 10 other lineups that you're going to do, and maybe you're going to capture a player in some other lineup. So you really focus more when you're doing those single entries, I think, for me at least.